Hey everybody, Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome back for another episode of Angry Bearded White Guy Rants. And today it's all about the stupidity that is this ridiculous notion that we need a prequel series to The Wheel of Time, but in motion picture format, as if it weren't bad enough what Amazon did to the book series with their ridiculous show. Apparently, they're going to be butchering a prequel series as well. But we're going to dive into that today. If this is your first time here, don't forget if you like this video to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get updates for all the future content that we do in this series. And don't forget, if you want to support the channel, you can join as a member or head on over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/wandering hermits, where you can pick up a subscription and get all sorts of cool perks along the way. We also have a Discord. Links are down there. Let's dive in. So, this is old news to some people. This came out last year, but just in the light of everything that's been happening with Amazon and Rings of Power and the Wheel of Time show, I wanted to circle back around to this because I didn't cover it when it came out, and it's been driving me nuts a little bit. So this is based off of a Deadline article, which we're going to dive into, but right now we're going to read through the Nerdist article here, which talks about the fact that we already have Amazon Prime Video turning the books into a television series, but a film adaptation is in the works too, from Iwot Productions and Radar Pictures, who brought on Thor screenwriter Zach Stentz to write a script for the first of not just one, but three planned movies. What the actual frack here, everybody? I mean, this goes back to everything we've seen about Amazon literally saying in the Rings of Power interviews that they're exploiting the IP to the best of their ability. That's exactly what they're doing here with Wheel of Time as well. There's no actual respect given to the source material. It's all about let's exploit these IPs for as much money as we possibly can, and let's milk every last little bit of money from these properties, which is ridiculous. So we also know that Robert Jordan did develop the history of his world a little bit. Also developed quite a bit in the book series itself about the current age. So this is the part that's important here. The Wheel of Time movie trilogy would take place long before the events of the books during what's known as the Age of Legends. The books only reference the Age of Legends as an FYI. It's known as the Second Age, which with the book's events largely happening during the Third Age. We do get some flashbacks to the Age of Legends, or the Second Age, which was the technological era when they had flying ships and all this other stuff. And there's a brief description here. Age of Legends. The Age of Legends was a utopian era with more channelers of the One Power and more technology, with service to fellow beings ranked far above material wealth. Um, we know some about the Age of Legends because of the Wheel of Time history book, but it's largely unexplored territory, as the Nerdist article says, rife for development. And Stentz, being a fan of the book, said in a statement, "I'm excited to be bringing this era Robert Jordan conceptualized to life, a fusion of the fantasy and science fiction genres. The Age of Legends is a tale of paradise lost as a futuristic Garden of Eden devolves into a broken and dangerous world." And here's the part that terrifies me, and here's the part that made me want to make this rant video, which is this. The Age of Legends show will apparently work alongside the Amazon Prime Video series storylines. The movie will show the downfall of the men who wield the One Power and how the women of the White Tower have to save the world. Ugh, ugh, and more ugh. Ugh. Rick Selvage, president of Iwot Productions, says, "We are fortunate to have an accomplished storyteller like Zach Stentz," which, kudos to him. He is a credited, talented writer. It says here, his ability to portray unforgettable characters who command great powers while being prone to everyday human imperfections make him the ideal writer to bring this monumental story to an international audience. First movie will be set several millennia before the time of the books. We already know that it's in the Age of Legends, but this Deadline article talks more about the specific timeline. So this is exactly what Amazon is doing with the Rings of Power show. they're going and tapping into the Silmarillion. But here's the thing, they don't actually have the rights to the Silmarillion. What they have the rights to are the appendices from The Return of the King and the events that of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, where the Second Age and First Age are briefly, vaguely mentioned. And that's the same thing that's happening here. The Age of Legends was only ever briefly mentioned during Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. The book was all about the Third Age, and so what they're doing is the same thing that they're doing with Rings of Power, which is where they're going to take these hints and clues that Robert Jordan left behind, and they're going to paint between those lines and connect the dots and try to weave this story set several millennia before the time of the books. It's so ridiculous. A time when an unspeakable evil is unleashed upon the world, civilization descends into chaos, and war blankets the globe. When men using the one power become insane and destroy much of the planet, a small band of women unite under the White Tower and are humanity's last hope for survival. Oh my goodness. I don't see how this is good news in any way, shape, or form. Um, Hang on, I'm reading something here. Skeleton, Mondragon of Iwot Productions. Bandersnatch Group is a successor to Robert Jordan, is represented by Joel Goldman for the property group. There's just so much wrong here, everybody. So much wrong here. I just don't understand the need to exploit these intellectual properties as they're doing. There is there are 14 books in the Wheel of Time, and there's an amazing amount of material there to pull from to make an amazing TV show as well as a series of movies. But of course, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do movies at the same time as the show, set during the same time period, because that would be overlap and that would be stupid. So they're going to milk these franchises for every last little drop of money they absolutely can and make these adaptations that are based on absolute bullshit fiction. It's the imagination of, no offense to the individuals who are behind this, but they are lesser writers in terms of Robert Jordan. And I don't mean that in the sense that they're not good writers. What I mean is that the creator of the IP is the only person who's ever going to know everything up here. That's just how it works. When that person is passed on and you're dealing with the books and only the books, the case of Robert Jordan, the case of J.R.R. Tolkien, you're never going to get anything that's remotely close to the source material because that person is gone. They're no longer there to provide references that might not necessarily be written down, but they might be in notes somewhere buried, or they might be somewhere in the recesses of the mind that they just haven't ever been put down on paper. And that unfortunately is never going to come to fruition because of shit like this. So I'm looking at this going, I don't see the need for a movie series about the Age of Legends. I see them doing this just as a means to, again, milk these franchises for every last little drop they can and try to make as much money as they can from what they hope to be billion-dollar IPs. It makes me sick. I wish they would hold true to artistic integrity. I don't see them doing that. Rah. If you got to the end, I'd love to know your thoughts. Drop them down in the comments below. Don't forget you can also join us in Discord if you would like to talk about it in greater detail. And if you liked the video, please make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get more updates from the Angry Bearded White Dude series, as well as everything else I do here on YouTube, which is quite a lot. I stream every single morning pretty much, and I do a lot of different videos and stuff about books and shows and TVs, series and movies and video games and all sorts of stuff, and going to be documenting our process of renovating the house that we just moved into. So lots of cool stuff coming in the pipeline. So hopefully you stick around for all the other stuff. And if you want to support the channel, don't forget you can always join as a member. Or if you want to go above and beyond and you want to read my fantastical work, you can head on over to the Patreon page for The Weave and the Void, which is the world map behind me. It's the world that I'm building with my brother and my wife. We, the three of us, are known as the Wandering Hermits, and our Patreon is patreon.com/the Wandering Hermits. Or just patreon.com/Wandering Hermits, not the Wandering Hermits. I don't know why I said that. Whatever. Go over there. There's perks. There's books. There's all sorts of cool stuff. There's a point and click adventure game. There's tabletop. There's 5th edition stuff. There's artwork. There's stories. Overload. See everybody next time. Stay safe. Until then.